The upshot of all this is that there is no reason for God to perform miracles now, in our own day. Miracles confirm the message of the biblical authors, but there are no biblical authors anymore. They've gone to glory already. If there are no longer any messages to confirm, then there is no longer any confirmation of messages. So the absence of miracles today is not evidence against God, against his existence. Rather, that's what we would expect. We would expect there to be no miracles today if God exists. So Hume was right, but he was right for the wrong reasons. We expect there to be no miracles today, not because they violate natural law. They don't violate natural law, by the way. But because miracles today would violate theological law. Alrighty. All that being said, I do not want to suggest for even a moment that God is not active today or that he does not answer prayer. He is there and he is not silent. And this is what people normally mean by the term miracle, God doing something. Technically speaking, though, that is not a miracle per se. It's not merely God's activity, but rather God's activity for the purposes of confirming the message of his word by one of his spokesmen, by a prophet or an apostle who wrote the Bible. In any case, I believe that God is, in fact, very active even today. Why don't many people see God's activity in the world? Because, it seems, they don't have eyes to see. The eyes of faith, I mean. I remember some time ago I was watching Joan of Arcadia. This was the only episode of the show I watched because my impression, confirmed by the one time that I did watch it, was that this was a very bad show, despite the fact that it was all about God and, you would think, therefore would be a really good show. I think it was actually a rerun of the debut episode because, if memory serves, it was the first time Joan met God. She did not really have any reason to believe that a regularly looking man whom she never met before really was God. So she asked for a miracle. Now, isn't that interesting? The theologically illiterate Joan of Arcadia knew the purpose of miracles, that they are authenticating signs which point beyond themselves to God. In response to her request for a miracle, God pointed to a nearby tree. Joan didn't seem impressed. She said, "But that's just a tree." "Just a tree? A tree is an amazing creation of God. He providentially tends them in an unmistakably supernatural way so that they grow and reproduce and so on." And the initial creation of the tree, or the trees, was quite a miraculous event as well. So this would be the providential activity of God, tending trees, helping them to grow and reproduce and so on. But God doesn't only work providentially, even up to the present, on my view. He apparently still heals sick. He apparently still heals sick people, otherwise uncurable, and so far as I can see, he even raises the dead on occasion today. But again, we need to look at the world with the eyes of faith to be cognizant of these things. So miracles in this other and not quite correct sense of a spectacular work of God, functionally significant but not confirmatory of any divine revelation, happens all the time, even today, I would think. In conclusion, miracles of the first kind aren't needed today. In answer of the question, why no miracles today? Miracles of the first kind aren't needed today, and miracles of the second kind are apparently ubiquitous. Thank you for watching. Shalom.